Hi everybody, it's great to be back here again on Itamar Friday. It's even cloudy outside. It began to rain a little bit, and we do pray that's going to rain a lot, and we still have a couple of months before the Passover. Until that time is the rain season in Israel, so we're not giving up, and it could still turn into the most rainiest year in the history of Israel now, and fill up all our reservoirs. Let's get to the portion of the week. Let's go. This week we're talking about I want to focus on a lot of things in this week's portion, of course, which is called Vaerah. But I want to talk about the difference in revelations between God appearing to Moshe with His name and appearing to the forefathers. And this begins by the end of last week's portion. We read about how Moshe Rabbeinu is actually in despair, and he says to Hashem, "I don't believe this whole thing. I mean, since I've been coming and to Paro, things have gotten much worse, not better. Not only that, things are just going crazy. Why'd you send me for? Like, things are just, I can't do it. I can't handle the situation." And then God, after he sees Moshe's despair, he promises us, "Don't worry." He says, "You will see what I will do, what Paro will do. He'll let the people go, and he'll free the nation." And of course, Moshe Rabbeinu is in a lot of pressure now. People are pressured. They're not listening to him. He doesn't know what's going on. And of course, the situation is terrible. And then if we go on to this week's portion, God begins by appearing to Moshe. He's revealing to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Moses, his new name. That he never revealed his new name. This is his name that he never revealed before. So it's new for Moshe. And what is this name? It's called in the Greek Tetragrammaton, which is the four-letter name. Tetra meaning four, grammaton, which is letters, four letters. And in Hebrew, that's God's proper name. That's the name of mercy. And until now, God did not reveal that name to anybody. And then it goes on, God comparing in how he used to talk to the forefathers of Israel, and he spoke to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob with a different name called El Shaddai, which is the name of judgment. Dai meaning judgment. Because Dai in Hebrew, Shaddai, Dai means to contract and to limit. And anything in judgment limits. Doesn't, as much less of a broad expanse, it's much more defined, and that's called judgment. And also has other implications as well. There's a beautiful passage in the Talmud in Sanhedrin which actually it helps us understand this whole difference between the forefathers and Moses, this whole difference in leadership or different time periods, which I think is a very important passage to bring down. I'd like to read it to you. And the Gemara goes like this. Tanya means in Hebrew, in Aramaic, we learn in a Mishnaic source from the Tanakh period, which means the Second Temple period, a little after that, after destruction. There were a few generations of teachers of the Mishnah. And Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yossi, and his name is Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yossi. He's a fifth generation Tana, a good friend of the famous Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Hebrew Zohar Kadosh, written in Aramaic. The famous Kabbalah teachings, esoteric teachings of Judaism. Anyway, Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yossi says like this. He goes, one day, one day I went into Alexandria of Egypt, and I found this elderly man. I want to show you what my forefathers did to your forefathers. So this elderly Egyptian is telling him, Rabbi Elazar, what his forefathers did to his forefathers. Mehem tibu bayam. There were those that they drowned him in the Nile. There were others that he killed by the sword. There were others that they crushed in the building when they were building the pyramids. And Moshe Rabbeinu was punished over this, because it says, since I started coming to Paro in your name, to speak in your name, it's only got worse. And God said right out to Moshe Rabbeinu, oh, it is so unfortunate that those that used to be here are not here anymore. And God was referring to the forefathers, but they're not around anymore. Why? So many times I came to appear before Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob with the name El Shaddai, as we mentioned before, which is a name of Gvura, of judgment. And they didn't have one bad thing to say what's going on. They didn't complain at all. They didn't say, what is your name? Amalti Lavram, I said to Abraham, Kum italech ba'aretz, go and travel in the land of Israel. Leorka or leochba, for its length and width. Kilecha etnenu, because to you I've given you the land of Israel. Nevertheless, although God promised the land of Israel to Abraham, and God said, go around, Bikesh makom lekborat Sarah. He had to look for a place to bury his wife Sarah. V'lo matzah, he didn't find a place to bury Sarah. Ad shekana ba'al ba'amot shekels, until he had to pay a huge sum of money, 400 shekel, kesef, silver coins. V'lo he didn't say anything. That he spent so much money for burial site. And then he says to Isaac, Gol ba'aretz azot, dwell in the land of Israel. Ve'yeh imcha, and I will be with you and I will bless you. Bikshu avadav mayim, and his servants, his home, his workers, they wanted water to drink. V'lo matzu ad shasu meriva, and they couldn't get water to drink. They had to have big arguments and fighting. Because it says, Vayerivu ro'ei Gerar im ro'ei Yitzchak, the sheep herders of Gerar were fighting with the sheep herders of Isaac, and they were saying the water is our water, and they were saying the water is their water. But Yitzchak, and all the difficulties of the struggle over water, of the basics of life, didn't complain. And then he goes on to say, Vata amarta, and you. Well, let's go, wait a second, let's not forget about Jacob. And then he goes on to say about Jacob. Jacob had to find a burial place, again, that he purchased in the city of Shechem. Later on, we know that Joseph is going to be buried there, so he had to buy a piece of land in the city of Shechem for his son Joseph, who will be buried there later on. He had to also pay that money for that. And he again didn't make a complaint or didn't say anything wrong. And then, finally, Ata, you, Moshe Rabbeinu, you asked me what my name is, and you said I didn't save the nation of Israel. And now you will see, yes, you will see what will happen with Paro. You will see how he will let you out of Egypt. You will leave Egypt. You will see the war of Paro over the land of Egypt. But you will not see the war of the 31 kings capturing the land of Israel, because you will not enter the land of Israel. This is very, very powerful Gemara over here, powerful passage of the Talmud. Rabbi Elazar is teaching us in a way that there are two different kinds of leadership, of periods of where God, as we know, as history goes along, God leads the world in different directions, different ways. Sometimes He reveals Himself directly, and sometimes He doesn't reveal Himself directly. But God, when He spoke about the forefathers, the amazing faith that they had, and the faith of the forefathers in the land of Israel was living in situations where, you know something, sometimes things don't seem to be going the way you really want them to be going. Everything's working backwards, and they're throwing people out of their homes and doing difficult things, and things are going crazy. But you always have to feel that God is behind the scene, and of course eventually He will reveal Himself to us. And you have to be patient. Now Moses, of course, was the greatest angel, saint, and prophecy of Moshe was the highest prophecy of all prophecies. But what was the criticism that the Talmud is bringing down here is just trying to show that Moses, of course, is representative of the nation of Israel at that time, because a leader really is a microcosm of the nation, where the nation is at. And Moshe Rabbeinu was sort of reflecting the feelings of the people, that they didn't have the patience anymore to wait. They were losing that patience because the situation, of course, was terrible. To have a faith like an iron pillar not moving is very, very hard in very difficult situations. But this is the lesson that the Talmud was saying, that you have to have in order to acquire the land of Israel. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu could not enter the land of Israel on one hand, the 31 kings, to see all that battle, because the nation of Israel at this point wasn't ready for that level of faith that was needed when they entered the land of Israel with Joshua. That was a new stage. Right now Moshe Rabbeinu is building the foundation, but still the leadership that is needed in the land of Israel is a different leadership. It's a leadership where we have to realize sometimes that things may be backwards and turned around in the most difficult situations, but the faith must be like strong as iron. And that's why the forefathers, in their own way, never opened their mouths, and they always accepted the most difficult situations. And that is a beautiful lesson that Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yossi is teaching us over here. Now, not to, God forbid, speak out against Moses, because God, who could dare speak out against Moses, the greatest prophet of all? But the point is, what the Talmud was teaching us is that there's always this deep lesson behind these nuances behind this midrash, these Talmudic passages. And the idea is to compare between the Jewish nation again, what it was all about when it was in Egypt. There was slave mentality and many years in slavery, and they just didn't have that level of faith yet, which had to be built, of course. And that was the whole idea of going through the desert, the 40 years in the desert, and that whole situation, and building a nation and preparing the nation to enter the land of Israel later, where things will be different and the people have the strength to overcome the obstacles of war and capturing the land again, recapturing if the God promised land to the Jewish people. And this requires tremendous strength. We also see when God runs the world, there are periods of time where He runs the world with miracles. It's called a miraculous Hanagah meaning leadership, where we'll see many miracles, like coming out of Egypt and the different plagues and splitting the sea and all the miracles we saw. But once we came to the land of Israel, the outward miracles begin to shut down slowly, and God begins to give over the leadership to the people itself. And He goes, now I will behave more in a natural fashion. And the miracles, of course, will be behind the scenes. And you will have to use your tremendous skills in order to make things happen in a natural basis. Of course, I'm with you. And I'll reveal myself again. And this is a beautiful period which happens when we enter the land of Israel. And this is what the forefathers taught us about their wonderful faith. Well, as we speak right now, I hear in the background some miracles happening, or natural things. It's raining in Israel, and I'm going to actually take my camera now, and I'm going to point it outside, so you, whoever's seeing this particular movie out there somewhere, will see the beautiful rain in Israel, and that's a miracle. So right now, let's pick this camera up, and let's go out the window. There we go. Listen to the sounds of the rain. That is God right now, who is watering the land, and you see the drops over here. There it goes, powerful right now. The phone's even ringing, but right now this is an amazing thing, and wow! So you can see it for yourself, looking at the background of the mountains of Shechem over here. And let's turn it back to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson and seeing the rain and hearing the phone ring in the end. But have a great Shabbat. We'll be in touch. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.